Welcome to the Business Buyer Diaries. My name is Nathan Platter. I'm a full-time employee, and I bought a business. I did everything right, from finding the deal, handling all the due diligence on 63 opportunities, and ultimately bought a profitable gym. And boy, was I in for a big surprise as a new owner. I chronicled everything in real time, including the biggest wins to the stressful nights at 2 a.m. I'm sharing my journey without sugarcoating anything, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Here's today's episode. It's kind of a self-reflective episode. This morning I was battling negative self-talk. I finished that episode like an hour ago. But I'm wondering, as I think to myself and talking to professionals and peers, when is the right time to fully leave a day job and take on being a business owner? And for me, selfishly, I wanted to be a coach or a mentor for you, everyone. So who's trying to make this big leap and jump out of a day job, a bi-weekly paycheck, and either own a business and that's your focus, or make this leap into being a coach. I hate the buzz phrase, coach, consultant, entrepreneur, because guys, that's the most annoying tagline. It's hey, I'm a coach, consultant, entrepreneur, life coach. It's yeah, anyone can give advice, but do you have street cred to give advice? Probably one of the funniest things I ever see is hey, I'm an 18-year-old, I'm a life coach. Yeah, what kind of life have you lived, 18-year-old? You can charge money for what you've seen through high school. What have you actually gone through, you little punk? And so I hate the buzz phrase, coach, consultant, entrepreneur. But for me personally, that's what I'm aiming to do personally is I'm aiming to be a friend to folks that are trying to figure out how the heck do I even start? How do I make my LLC? How do I file an EIN number? How do I evaluate a business? Because I want to do it all myself. I want to bootstrap this. I don't want to pay a CPA. I don't want to pay a lawyer. I would kind of do this on my own, and I want to start small and grow something. And I don't need to be a full-fledged business. I want something that I can make a couple bucks on. How can I grow this? And so for me, I'm trying to figure out what's my branding and my positioning. So something very early on that I evaluate for myself is that I'm going to need future assets. I'm going to need future content to establish myself that, hey, I've gone through this. Here's my journey. Cards on the table. Here's my diary. Here are my high points. Here are my low points. You get it all. And I'm not going to be hiding. I'm not going to be hiding the details and the struggle, but I'm going to hide the details of brands, of employees, of workplaces, because they're not relevant to the journey you go through. Mine happens to be in the gym space. I work in the tech space. If you're a cement layer and you're trying to buy a lawn care business, I want these episodes to still be relatable to you because the journey is similar. And so if someone that I really look up to and someone that I've really gone through this highs and lows with. I'm just pulling up the business book as well. Scott Greenberg's The Wealthy Franchisee. He had a franchise, I think it was an Edible Arrangements, and he documents what it was like being a franchisee. Cool, that's my journey. But I don't think Scott went through the employee to business owner leap. I think he went from a speaker, professional speaker, a professional coach into being a business owner. And so mine's kind of a little similar but different. What I'm trying to figure out is how do I position myself as an everyday employee, went to undergrad, got my bachelor's, happened to get my grad degree, my MBA. But how's a guy like me with very golden handcuffs, how do I make the leap? And how do you make the leap from a paycheck to business ownership where you have equity in your work? You have skin in the game. And so for me, I knew early on I would need to establish assets because I could get fired tomorrow, because it's the tech world and that happens. And so I need to build something out so that if all right, I have no bars holding me back because right now I'm holding back. If my day job knew that I was building up assets and this content and going on this journey outside of the day job, they probably would let me go because they don't want me to be sidetracked. And so I need to be building up these things on the side so that whether it's time to launch it while I have a day job or they let me go because of mass layoffs, now I have something to run with and I'm not scrambling to create content. So be building up the skill sets and building out your network as you do this thing. Know how you're going to have illegal people help you evaluate things. What kind of value are you going to be providing? What kind of people resonate with your message? And when I tell friends and family, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's who I want to help down the road. I feel oh yeah, hey man, how do I set up an LLC? How do I file an EIN number with the IRS? How do I get a business bank account? When it's it takes a half hour. Wait, what? I thought it would take a week. No, it takes it takes like a day or two, like if you wait for the bank, but like you can get it done in a day. Like you don't need to wait a long time for this. Oh, can you sit down and show me? So yeah, I can. So, okay. So here's someone who's doing that. And folks that are candidly, like here's my avatar. Folks that make under 100 grand have that aspiration, but they may not have the skill set to make not skill set. They may not have the same boat that I'm in as I'm being pulled back. Like as the folks that I'm working with and they like resonate with this, they're making between like their household income is probably between 200 to 400 grand a year, maybe 500. They've contributed to their 401ks. They have high incomes. They like if they leave their job, their $800,000 house might be on the line. Their kids may have to go out of private school. They can't buy the golf simulator in the basement, or they can't like renew their Grand Cherokee every 3 years because they take a financial hit. Okay, so that's my avatar. Folks that are probably under 40, they're above 25 because their career's starting to pick up and take momentum. Probably in like that 30 to 45 range. They're a manager. They're either a high producing contributor, like a senior software developer or a senior sales executive, or they're a manager of a team of 10, or they're a director of 30, and they have a handful of years of experience. They've worked in multiple departments. They know how to grow revenue or stay compliant. They know how to go find deals, or they have a high income skill where they're making that 200 to 500 grand, but they don't know how to do it for themselves. And so they're trying to find something that they can buy, park their money, and own a business so that they're fine taking a small financial hit, but they can't do it for the long haul. An entrepreneur is willing to like live on beans and rice and ramen and tomato ketchup sandwiches, but my avatar is kind of in a cushy lifestyle. They're trying to figure out, how do I take this leap without taking a hit? Because they're not that diehard entrepreneur. They're wanting to redirect their work so that they can still maintain a decent lifestyle. Doesn't have to be extravagant, but they can start taking their professional experience and apply it in a smaller environment. Smaller environment meaning fewer employees, fewer bosses, because they're the boss. And they want to do this smartly because they're intelligent. They know how to produce. They know how to get results. They know how to get raises. They know how to climb ladders, but they don't know how to run people and set that up for others below them. So how do you find a business that can do that? And so that's my avatar. That's my audience. They're probably not 50 or older, because folks that are 50 plus are thinking about retirement. A lot of them have either made the entrepreneurial leap or they don't want to start over with the franchise, because now you're building something that takes 10 years. And at 50, you're probably planning for retirement. You're not trying to accelerate your life or make a life pivot. Most likely, you're probably seeing retirement in the next 10, 12, 15 years. And so now you're trying to maximize time with your kids because they're off to college. You don't want to do the startup scene all over again. You don't want to overhaul and reset, but you're still in a very good spot. And so for better or worse, the days of risking things are probably behind you. Happy to work with those folks, but usually it's the 25 to 40-year-olds that they're growing in their career. They're making a very good income. They have a very high skill sets. They know how to manage teams or deliver incredible results. And those are the folks that when I tell them what I'm up to, what I'm doing, those are the folks that are like, oh yeah, that's cool. Can we grab lunch? I want to hear about that. And that's how I'm figuring out who it is. One example, my wife works at a hospital right now. There's 3 doctors and they're all vascular surgeons. So yes, I'm sure they make a boatload of money. I don't know what, but I'm making up a number. They probably make 700 to $1 million plus a year. Of the doctors, the 2 doctors that are probably like 55, 50, let's see here. Yeah, they're probably 55 to 60. They're like, oh, that's cool. I'd love to see how it goes for you. It's like, okay, cool. But one doctor who's like 35 or 40, he's like, oh man, that's awesome. Let's grab lunch. I'd love to talk to you about that. Okay. He's still a doctor, still doing vascular surgery. No, he's not going to buy a gym making 800 grand a year, but he's the kind of person that might be a partner on something down the road, whether it be like buy a business, and he wants to put money in, or maybe he wants to buy a medical practice. I don't know. I can help him figure it out. And he's a 35, 40-year-old guy that resonates with what I'm doing as opposed to the 55 to 60-year-olds. So figuring out age ranges, I'm not even going to cap the income range, but the folks that are in that income grouping usually resonate. So know what you're building on and build up these assets. So for me, it's voice memos I'm sure I'll be on YouTube one day, but my destination is to be an affordable, relatable mentor that helps people DIY business acquisitions or a small level done for you. When I say DIY, you're doing the due diligence and I'm telling you how to do the due diligence. I'm not telling you like, here's how you're not going to hire me to do it for you, because those are other folks that want to do it. I want to help folks want to bootstrap and make the leap and have that pride of self-fulfillment for at least right now. And I want to help other folks figure out how to do it because this is a calling on their life. And with that being said, I'm building out my avatar. Now, as for where we're going with that, I want to be invited to speak at franchise conferences. I want to be brought in by franchisors on how to find and hunt down franchisees and of the future. How do you find your marketing? How do you create your word copy? How do you develop a game plan in finding these folks? Because right now, like, I fit the avatar. A lot of peers fit the avatar, but I'm getting hit up by like franchise sales reps. Like, hey, Nathan, I see you're a high-ranking professional that have done well in your career. I represent 400 brands. I'm like, okay, cool, dog. That's way too much. Like, at the end of the day, people are not interested in a brand. They're interested in a lifestyle or an alternative investment, and they don't know where to go or how to start. And so all that to say, I think I want to be invited by franchisors to be brought into their sales departments. I want to consult founders of franchise companies on how to reach the next generation that's completely different than the folks that are exiting franchises or selling off businesses. I want to be hired by folks like the doctor at my wife's workplace that wants to invest in a business and either own it or have their staff operate it. And there's all these folks I want to be that bridge between the folks that are aspirational, but also like the other side of the coin, the folks that are trying to pull folks into their franchise system, their business system, but they don't know how to speak the language to the high working individual. They don't know how to develop a career path or a franchisee growth path, an expansion plan. Here's how we're going to map out. You got to talk to both audiences. And so that's what I've crafted out. That's what I put pen to paper on. And so as you're working this, as you're making and prepping for this big leap, you got to know like what your future looks like. And for me, it's consulting with those people. It's speaking at different events, doing actual like coaching with individuals that want to do this, putting together a coursework where people can go through how to read financial statements, how to evaluate payroll systems, how to put together a decent letter of intent and a purchase agreement and confirm closing documents on your own. Not that you replace professionals, but you're able to read it and you're not outsourcing everything to someone else. And that's who I am. That's what I'm up to. And so that's why I've been doing all these. I know the day will come where I wrap up with my employer. That might be sooner than later. That might be a long time from now. I don't know when. But I'm not going to stay at my current job forever. No one really does. The days of the 30-year company commitment are kind of rare. And so whenever the day comes, I want to build up assets and content so that this can be launched and it can be released. And there's some runway and there's some traction. So as you're making these efforts, I'll land the plane here. As you're working a day job, a paycheck, start figuring out who you want to be and where you want to be going, because you need to see very clearly what you'll be doing on a day-to-day basis as a future business owner. And that's what I'm crafting for myself right now. I'm going to be a high-paid individual and a business owner because I like doing work. I really do enjoy that. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going. And that's a little bit of a reintroduction to myself and who I am and what I want to be working on. Let's rock and roll. This has been another episode of the Business Buyer Diaries. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I hope you're realizing that business ownership is no cakewalk. Check the podcast notes for a link to the DIY due diligence program, the complete list of show sponsors, and for media inquiries. Music written and composed by Wes Schrock. I'm your host, Nathan Platter. Join me again on the next one.